This is a cave painting found in Nigeria and dated to about 2,000 years old. Pretty minimalist, but what is quite clear is the many forms of sex acts being performed here by people who could be of various genders, but are, at the very least, both men and women. And it's worth noting that the ways in which we code and understand sexuality in the 21st century is highly influenced by the spread and imposition of Victorian European norms, codes of conduct, and laws. Thanks to imperialism and colonialism, these were exported out from 19th century Europe and imposed upon extremely disparate cultures and civilizations in Asia and Africa, as well as other parts of the world. How did pre-colonized non-European countries view gender and sexuality, and how can we access these often lost forms of knowledge? Well, sometimes we need to resort to information left to us in the form of ancient art, such as the cave paintings from Nigeria, and infer whatever we can from it. But sometimes older sexual behaviors are extremely well documented, such as in India, where art and architecture, books, and even entire treatises are devoted to cataloging and discussing various forms of gender and sexual expression.
Perhaps the most famous is the Kama Sutra, which is an actual treatise on various kinds of sex acts and sexual behavior, complete with suggested positions and advice. Written by Vatsyayan in the 2nd century AD, it stresses the importance of pleasure for women. Apart from texts like these, the pleasure of women and the many non-heterosexual ways in which it could be had is apparent from carvings and sculptures on temple walls. One of the most famous of these is Khajuraho, a vast complex of Hindu and Jain temples built between 950 and 1050 AD. The ancient and medieval epics of India, Greece, and Iceland, for instance, recognized and acknowledged various modes of sexual behavior as well. From Tiresias in Greek mythology, who spent several years as a woman, to Arjun in the Indian epic the Mahabharata, who spent a year living as a woman, to Shikhandi, also from the Mahabharata, who was born a woman and became a man, to the insinuations in the medieval Icelandic Njál saga, where the two male protagonists are sometimes seen as being more than just best friends. Examples of non-binary, non-heterosexual sex acts and sexual behaviors and identities have always been very much part of the social and cultural understanding of gender and sexuality. In fact, as we can see, in most cases, the pre-colonial visions are much more inclusive and non-judgmental than the post-colonial ones that last into the present day.